Hi guys, it's me for my weekly update. Today I have a few things I want to share. I made a list. First up, the diet update. For the week, I lost just 2 pounds for a total now of 20.2. So I've got 20 pounds to go. I'm really happy. If you've been watching my vlog, you know that I chose the Atkins plan to follow. I have lost and gained and lost and gained and lost and gained pounds in the past. I've never done like a crash diet. I've always tried to do things healthy. I just don't stick with them. Like I gained a lot of weight when I had my first son, and I never lost all of it before I had my second son. I only gained 14 pounds when I was pregnant with him. I was really, really careful. But with my first son, I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I was eating so much when I was pregnant, and I gained a huge amount of weight. But anyway, I have done the, counting the calories, exercising. I've done it the right way, and I lost a lot of weight, but then I went back to old habits, eating powdered donuts, ice cream. I have a lot of things that I have to be really careful about, because for some things I don't have an off button. No-bake cookies is one. I make really good no-bake cookies. If you want the recipe, let me know, and I'll post it in the comments, or I'll do something to put it out there. But I make the best no-bake cookies. Everybody that eats them would agree. But I don't have an off button for those. I will eat them and eat them and eat them. Another thing is butter pecan cake with cream cheese icing. That's my youngest son's favorite cake for his birthday, so it's like, oh my God. Luckily he likes it too, but I really could seriously eat probably half a cake at a sitting, and I'm not kidding. No off button there. So I just need to stay away from that stuff. But I had shared in a video earlier the why I chose Atkins, that I had a heart attack when I was 38. And so I won't rehash it all here. If you want to know about that, it's the video that says why I chose Atkins. I think it's vlog 11. And then, I don't know, Atkins is just really working for me, and I don't feel deprived. I think probably if you were a vegetarian it would be harder for you, but there are a lot of other protein options. So the Atkins book actually has a whole entire section for vegetarians and vegans. But anyway, 2-pound loss. So that's really great. I had told you before that I bought that nail book that shows you how to do the different designs, and so I tried out the ladybugs. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully it's focusing on it. I did the rest of my nails just red, and then just did the thumbs ladybugs, because one, I thought if all of them were ladybugs it might be kind of too much. I thought about doing the middle fingers, then I could look cute when I flip somebody off. Here, have a ladybug. But it wasn't so bad. This thumb was pretty easy to do because I'm right-handed. This thumb, it's not quite perfect, but I'm not going for perfect. It was fun to do, and I'm going to try out some other designs later after this wears off, or starts to wear off. So there's my first attempt at nail art. So yay for me. Let's see. I wanted to show you Blue Rose Beadery, what I've got from them or her recently. One thing is this dagger necklace. I love this dagger necklace. I think I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm not one of those people that has like a specific style. Like I don't like everything girly or everything rock and roll or whatever. I have a really varied style. I like a lot of different things. I love this cool stuff like this. I mean, I even have, well, I've told you before, I love skulls. I have a lot of things with skulls on them. But I also love butterflies and ladybugs and flowers and florally things and owls, and I like a lot of things. But this necklace was really cool. One of them that she made for me special, I had asked her about owls, and so she had sent me some pictures of some things she had, is this one. It's also a corded necklace like this one, but with this little chubby owl. And then she added these beads, and I love this. I think this is probably my favorite owl necklace. That's what it looks like on the back. It's like a hollow. And she even put beads up here by the clasp. But she just does such a good job. I just recently ordered another set from her. I get paid every other week, and so I budget. I swear I order something almost every other week. But there's a set that she has that's beads and a heart, and I'll show it to you when I get it. It hasn't come yet. So, but that's the latest from Blue Rose Beadery. I'll try to remember to put a link below. It's an Etsy shop. And that reminds me, I had told you a few videos back that there was only one time on Etsy I had ordered from a shop and I didn't get what I had ordered. And so I'd sent her an email and she said, oh, I sent it today. And, you know, like quite a while passed and I still hadn't gotten it. And so I was sending her messages and she was never responding. So I contacted Etsy only to find out that her shop had been shut down because of that kind of thing. So luckily I paid with PayPal, and that's what I do online because they're a secure way to pay, and they have a really good dispute process and everything. So I had gone through them to dispute it and say I wanted my money back and all that, and I got my money back. So, you know, that's good. So just an update on that. I did get my money back. So let's see. Okay, the projects that I've done. I'm still working on that blue scarf that I've said before. I'm just I get bored with it. I did do probably 30 more rows on it, so it's getting close to completion. Finished projects. I did this hat. This is probably my favorite hat I've ever done. I mean, one thing, skull. This whole hat was, I saw this patch at Joann's. This whole hat is based on that patch. And I sewed it on. It's an iron-on patch, but since this is acrylic yarn, I was afraid I would melt it. So I probably will test that out sometimes because I have a lot of scrap yarn, just to test it. So I sewed this on with embroidery thread. It's on there really good. And then it's a loomed hat on the purple Nifty Knitter loom, and it's the general brim. And then what I did for the striping is you wrap every other peg in the different colors, and so like if you looked at it from the inside, you would see like pink wrapped, and then the thread goes behind the next peg and it doesn't wrap it, but there's black, and it's just every other. And then the pom-pom. So it's a little bit more time consuming to do stripes, but it's worth it in my opinion because you get something cool. I finished the cheetah scarf, the one that was made with the fleece yarn, and it's very warm and super soft. And I finished this scarf. This is a yarn from Bernat, Softy Chunky, and the color is Primary. And it's another one that's really soft, and it took 3 skeins, 3 full skeins. This is one of my favorite yarns, is the Bernat Softy Chunky, because you can really see a lot of progress when you're making a scarf. It goes really fast. I can do, even with 3 skeins of yarn, I can do one of these in just a couple of evenings. So I really like that. And I have several others I'm going to make. So there's the projects. I'm going, at the end, I wanted to just tell you more about me, but so that's coming. But I had 2 really weird things happen to me at Target over the weekend, and I just kind of wanted to share it. But I had done a rant video in my car a couple videos ago, just things that irk me. And another thing is when people don't watch their kids, like out in public, or they're intentionally letting their kids misbehave or whatever. But I have 2 examples that happened to me at Target on Saturday, both at the same visit. The first was when I was getting ready to walk in the doors. I saw this little kid. He could not have been any more than 2 or 3. 3 at the oldest. He was standing directly on the other side of the automatic doors, the ones that are going to open. He's right there, like this. And so I knew that those doors were going to open and hit that kid. I don't know where his parents were, but I tried. At Target, they have the automatic doors, and then right next to the automatic doors, they have the ones that you just walk up and open. So I thought, oh, maybe I could, all this is happening like in a split second. I tried to back up real fast so I wouldn't activate the sensors, thinking I could go around into those other doors, but it was too late. The sensors activated, the doors opened, the kid went flying, and the mean part of me is thinking, well, that's what you get for standing in front of the damn doors. But, really he's too little to understand. And so I went in the manual doors, and he's laying on the ground after he just got, hit up against the wall with these doors that just pushed him into the wall. And he's screaming, and I'm like, where's your mommy? I'm like looking to see where there's somebody. Then these people come walking in. The mom and the grandpa. I told you you should wait for Grandpa, and the mom's giving me this dirty look, and I told her, I said, I didn't know there was going to be a kid on the other side of these doors, I tried to not activate the sensors, but it was too late, I couldn't help it. And I was just waiting for her to say something because, I'm a really calm person. I'm really laid back, but if she would have said something snotty to me, oh my God, it's like I had it queued up in my brain about, well, maybe you should watch your damn kid. He's way too young to be going across a parking lot by himself, and if it took you that long to come in here, that means he probably ran into the doors. But, and then I just walked in. I thought, I don't even care. If he's hurt, he's hurt. It's their own damn fault. Wasn't my fault, period. I don't even feel bad. Well, I do a little bit for the kid because he doesn't know any better. And if he's got a mom that dumb, he's going to grow up dumb. Sorry. The other thing was I'm walking through Target, and it's a mom and a dad and 2 kids. And the dad's the one that's like doing the shopping. And in the meantime, the mom is letting her kids, there's 2 little girls, race in the store. She's telling them, on your mark, get set, go. They're getting down like racers, and then she's like, go, and they're running down the aisles racing. And she does that throughout the whole store. The main aisles, the little aisles, because you can hear them all through the store. On your mark, get set, go. And I'm thinking, somebody could come out of an aisle with a car, and one of those little girls is going to run into it. What is going on with parents today? I don't get it. Okay, so there's a mini rant. But have any of you experienced this weird stuff with kids? It's the parents. But, these kids are going to grow up. I don't know how they're going to grow up. But speaking of growing up, not everything that in your life necessarily makes you the person you are. You can overcome things. But I thought I would share a little bit about me for you. And if I wanted to do it at the end because if you don't care, you can go ahead and turn the video off or whatever. So anyway, I am 43 years old. I am married. I have 2 sons, ages 18 and 14. My 14-year-old will be 15 in June. So my 18-year-old graduates in May. I'm the oldest of 7 kids. Let's see. I should have wrote this down. When I was growing up, we moved around a lot. I guess because I'm the oldest, probably me and my brother right below me and my sister below him were the ones that dealt with that the most because my parents quit moving around so much, finally, but it was after I had already graduated. I'm 14 years older than my youngest brother. So the younger ones didn't have to go through the moving as much. My mom and dad are very kind people and have really big hearts, so throughout my growing up years, I would say probably more often than not, we had an extended family. There was usually somebody else living with us, sometimes multiple people, all family. My grandma, my Grammy, she lived with us a lot, which was wonderful. I love my Grammy. I miss her so much. I think I get my butterfly and flower obsession from her. How I like butterflies and flowers, and on my clothes and stuff. But she always liked that. She was also more experimental in the foods that she'll eat, and so I think I learned from her, how to like things like mushrooms, because we didn't have a lot of that growing up. But we didn't have a whole lot of money, but my parents always made sure that Christmases were special. We like at school time, we would get a couple outfits for school. We weren't the kind of family where you could just buy clothes all throughout the year and stuff. I think maybe that's why I kind of have a clothing obsession. I don't know. It seems like I'm always buying clothes. But, so growing up, it was usually a pretty full house, 7 kids. Well, of course, we didn't always have 7. Like I said, I was 14 when my youngest brother was born. But sometimes we had entire other families living with us, an aunt and uncle and their kids, plus us. And I don't ever remember it being like crowded or hard to get in the bathroom or anything like that. I don't have any bad memories of things like that. I did have I don't know whether I'll share, but I'm not going to go into a lot of details. But one of those instances with somebody living with us didn't turn out that great for me or my sister, but my mom's youngest brother, my uncle, wasn't that much older than me. I think he might have only been between 8 or 10 years older than me, not that much older, maybe even a little less than that. It was my mom's youngest brother, but he molested me. And I'm not going to go into details on it other than to say, if you are young and you are watching this and something like that happens to you, please tell your parents. Don't think they won't believe you. I thought my mom wouldn't believe me because my uncle was, I think, more like a son to her. She took care of him. She brought him in to the family, because she has such a good heart. And in the end, it probably was the right thing to do because I don't know. Anyway, I have since forgiven him. He unfortunately actually died at a very young age. He had melanoma and passed away. So, and I'm completely over it now. But to me, the thing that made the difference was the minute I told my mother, she believed me. No doubt, no question, she believed me. And that means everything. Because when you're going through something like that, and it lasted for quite a while, you think no one will believe you, or that it's something that you did that made it happen to you. And he wasn't threatening me or anything because I was asleep. He would come into my room when I was asleep. And of course you're not going to stop. But it didn't. So anyway, that was a weird place for the camera to beep at me. But anyway, all that's over. That was really the only bad thing that came out of having other people live with us. But I'm over it now. I'm well adjusted and all that. So, like I said, growing up we moved around a lot. I think that was very difficult. It's so hard to start a new school as a kid, being the new person over and over and over again. And by the time I got to high school, everybody's already in their own cliques and everything. And so I think when my junior year of high school, we moved in the middle of the year, so I started in the middle of the year, and I didn't have any friends that were female. They were all already in their own cliques and everything, so it was kind of a lonely period, but also it ended up being a really good thing because that's when I met my husband. You know, I didn't know at the time he was going to be my husband, and as a matter of fact, the first time I ever saw him, I hated him. It was in a biology class, and I am a huge animal lover, and in this biology class, he had a guinea pig, and there were hamsters and gerbils and different animals that he had in the class, and so my husband was trying to look cool, I guess, to his friends, and one day he cut the hair of this guinea pig. It's the kind that has the long hair, and its name was Ziggy, and he cut its hair, you know, and also they took a hamster and played catch with it. Like, not like over and over and over, but like once or twice, and so I hated him. You know, you don't abuse animals, and to me that's animal abuse, and I know it doesn't hurt the guinea pig to cut its hair, but they really could have injured that hamster. And so after I got home from school that day, I told my mom about this Brian person, and oh man, how much I hated him and everything. And it's so funny because throughout the rest of that school year, I got to know him more, and I noticed he was one of those people that, you know, I was one of the people that had the A's and always did everything that you're supposed to do in school. He was the one that was in detention and skipping and all that stuff. He was late to class all the time. Well, then I noticed he started being like one of the first people in class. And I was one of the first people in class because it was just right across the hall from my class before then. And he started flirting with me and things, and I got to know him better, and I let him have it over the animal thing. And the funny thing is that guinea pig, eventually, the teacher decided that he didn't want it anymore, and he gave it to me. So I took this guinea pig home. It was a sweet guinea pig, and, you know, I kept him until he passed away. He was a really sweet little guinea pig. But, so anyway, at the end of that school year, like when you get your yearbooks and everybody's writing in the yearbooks, and he asked me to sign his yearbook, he had said, I wrote in there, I never partied or anything, but I said something about, if you hear any good parties, give me a call, you know, trying to look cool. I don't even know if I'd ever even been to like any kind of a party. So I wrote my phone number in there. And by then my mom knew, you know, that I really liked this boy and everything. And so that summer, my dad and my brothers and sisters all went to visit his mom, and Mom and I stayed back. And that was kind of a special time. We would do that sometimes. And so we had rented a scary movie, and I still remember it was called From Beyond. And we were eating like nachos and Mexican food and refried beans with cheese and just having a girl's time. I love those times. I miss them because I don't live by my mom now. But anyway, he called, and his best friend, like convinced him to call me because they had tickets to a Bon Jovi concert. And so he called, and we talked a little bit, and he asked me if I could go, and I just knew my mom would say no, because I was 16. I wasn't going to be able to go to a concert with a boy. You know, she was kind of strict with me. But she said yes, and I was over the moon. So that was our first date. We went to a Bon Jovi concert, and so I had him all through my senior year, and, you know, his friends became my friends, but I still didn't have, like, a close girlfriend or anything like that. And even today, I only have one. You know, I have my best friend, but I met her through work. So, anyway, that's how I met my husband. So, even with that one bad thing in my childhood and all the moving around, I feel like I had a wonderful childhood. We got to do a lot of fun things, go to the drive-in, go camping. I had the most supportive, loving parents in the world. So I have so many more, 99.9% of my memories are wonderful, good memories. So I'm not going to let that bad thing tarnish my life or, you know, like use it as an excuse for anything. it's not me. You know, it wasn't my fault. It happened a long time ago. It's over. So, had a nice childhood. The thing about the moving around everywhere was, I met my husband when I was 16, and kind of to back up a little bit, when I started kindergarten, we lived in Illinois, and you could start school at 4. So I started at 4, which meant when I graduated, I was only 17. We graduated in May. My birthday's not until October, so I had a little bit to go before I was 18. Well, I had met Brian. Of course I didn't know he was going to be my husband in the future or anything, and also in my senior year of high school, I was in a program where I went to school half a day and worked half a day, and that place was going to hire me full time, and so I felt like things were lining up for me. I was going to have a job. I was going to, my parents didn't have the money to send me to college, but I was going to be able to afford to take night classes and go to college and all that, but all that kind of got wiped out because my family decided to move to New Hampshire, and we at the time lived in Missouri. That is a huge way away. I wasn't ready to leave Brian. I felt like there was something there. I felt like my future was there, and so I stayed. And that was probably the most difficult decision I ever made. And it was so difficult because I was only 17. I had a job, this was right, they moved, it wasn't long after I graduated. I mean, it was fast. So I barely even had a chance to be graduated before I was living on my own, by myself, because like I said, I was 17. I found an apartment complex that I could afford. And so when I filled out the application, I said I was born the year before I was really born, so I fibbed so that it would look like I was 18. I was so afraid they would check and find out, but of course they don't check that stuff. I was too young then, I didn't know. And so I got the apartment, and at the time they had a thing where you got your first month free, and so instead of taking that money, I just asked them to prorate it through the rest of the lease. So that way my rent was cheaper. So I could afford my rent, but I couldn't afford to use my air conditioner or the dishwasher. I was living very lean. I mean, ramen noodles were my best friend then. And so I'm surprised I still like them today, even though I'm not eating them right now because they're way too high carb. But so I lived on my own because my husband and I did not get married did not live together until we were married. I just did not want to do that. So and I was 23 when I got married, so from 17 to 23 I was by myself, living on my own, in my own apartment, which I'm very proud of. I didn't have a lot. Thank goodness for my husband's family, because that's where I got his grandma. And today, looking back, I know that they didn't, because I had a lot of pride, and I didn't want to be a charity case, and so they would have extras, oh, I'm not using this anymore, I'm just going to take it to Goodwill, do you want it, so I got like a wicker chair, my first furniture was a chair, and then popcorn tins for my tables, but I had a bed, because his grandma had a bed. And, so slowly I built things up, and then his mom would say that, oh, they had buy one, get one free at the grocery store, which they really didn't, but, she would bring me groceries, here and there, and she invited me over for dinner at their house a lot. So I had a support system. It worked out well, but that's pretty hard to be 17 and out living on your own. And, having all of a sudden you have all this responsibility you never had before, paying the bills and all that. But I will say I never missed a rent payment. I never didn't pay a bill. Even if I had to be so lean. I remember one time, I couldn't afford to buy milk. A lot of the things, you are lean. And they had grapes. on sale for some really cheap amount, and so I bought just this little bunch of grapes, and I had just washed them, and I was walking out of my kitchen, and I dropped the colander, and these grapes just went everywhere. I picked up every single one of those grapes, put them back in the colander, ran them back under the sink, and ate them. You know, a lot of people would be like, oh my God, they were on the floor. I ate those suckers. But, you know, so, but today I'm an independent person. You know, I still am, I'm not that outgoing. My husband is very outgoing, and I'm really glad, because I probably would be stuck in my house all the time. Because I'm kind of an introvert, I guess. It's different at work. I don't know. It's weird. I guess I'm kind of like my fashion sense. I like funky rock things, and I like feminine things. I don't know. Some things I'm really outgoing. Some things I'm more of an introvert. I've worked at the same company this is my 25th year. They actually it's a bank, and they were one thing, and then they got bought and merged and all this stuff. So it's a different name now. But throughout these 25 years, they've eliminated my job 3 times. I've been told I was going to be laid off, but luckily I found something else within the company. This last time that it happened, it was all the way up. What happened was all of the jobs, my whole entire department, got moved to Delaware. And great people. You know, I have never blamed them. It's not their fault that the jobs went that way or anything. And what ended up happening was, almost all the way to the end, I thought I was going to lose my job. And luckily my company offers severance, and so I would have had some severance and hopefully could have found another job. But the people in Delaware they always were asking me a lot. I was a manager. Let me back up a little bit. I was a manager with my own team, and I managed, there was 3 sections in this department, and I've managed all 3 of them. So knowledge is power. So I had a lot of knowledge over the whole thing, and so they used to ask me a whole lot of questions and everything, and then they found out we were going to go through an audit that's supposed to last a really long time, and just a lot of stuff started happening. Well, they decided that they didn't want to lose that knowledge, and that they need me. And I'm so happy, because, you know, I felt guilty too, because all these other people were losing their jobs, which, you know, now they've all found other jobs, and I'm still in contact with a lot of my team. I'm not a manager anymore, which is fine. I don't know if I ever want to do that again, because I really took a personal investment in my team. I cared for them like family, and I feel like, I don't know if a manager should do that, should get that invested. I don't know. I mean, all my teammates always told me how much they really liked me as a manager, and how they could tell that I really cared about them. I also wasn't a pushover, you know, that kind of thing. I felt like I had a good balance. But it was heartbreaking for me that last day. I still have a hard time with it. I still, the way it is now, I'm kind of a consultant and a specialist, and I have a job I do. I have a lot of things I do, and I'm focused on certain things, and I still am answering a lot of questions and everything. But since a lot of the stuff in our building got moved. So now the way it is I work from home 4 days a week, and I go into the building on Thursdays. I really can pick whatever day I want to go in. They're really pretty flexible about that. Hi, buddy. Just a minute. My dog, Nathan. Speaking of, my dog has a Facebook page called Nate the Dog, if you're interested. So anyway, I work from home most days of the week. That's been a huge change, because for 24 years I, drove 45 minutes to work and home every day. So this is really a nice change, or has been a nice change. So anyway, I know I keep going like back and forth and back and forth. But anyway, so I'm still afraid at any day I'm going to be told we don't need you anymore. You know, here I'm all the way in Missouri. They're all in Delaware. I don't know. I'm just praying and hoping that they keep needing me. So I am doing a lot on this audit that we're in and everything. So they definitely need me right now, but I'm just, that's always in the back of my mind. I don't think I'm ever going to be comfortable again. So let's see. Oldest of 7, pretty good childhood. Moved out at 17. Got married when I was 23. My husband and I dated for 7 years. And that was a long time to date, but I feel like 23 was a good age to get married. You know, it's not too early, not too late. The way he proposed to me was kind of cute. I still have it, but I wanted a light bright. Go figure. The light bright where you stick the pegs in and make the designs. Just something about that. I wanted one, and so he bought me one for my birthday. And you have to buy these light bulbs. Well, what he wrote when he gave me this light bright, he had wrote on one of the bulbs, "Will you marry me?" I was like, these bulbs are used, because at first I just saw writing and not what it said. But by that time he was down on his knee with the ring, and then it all clicked. But I still have that light bright, and I still have that bulb. And I do have a different wedding ring now, because that one was way small, and he got me this one for our 10-year anniversary. So, but anyway, we had our first son when I was 25, and then I had a miscarriage in between the two, so they're a little over 3 years apart. Because Adam was born in 95 and Daniel was in 99, but it's not really quite 4 years. So I've had my tubes tied, so we're done having kids. I didn't really want to go down that path of 7 kids like my mom did. I wanted to stay in the same house with my kids, let them grow up in the same schools with the same friends, and not get moved all around. I wanted stability. And my husband's had that. He's an only child, so polar opposites. Oldest of 7, only child. So, yeah, when we bought our first house, or our only house, we bought our house when I was pregnant with our oldest son, and so yeah, I feel like I've had a really good life, and I have a lot more to come, and been through a few things. But I'm not going to let any of that define, well, it does define you as a person, but I'm not going to let the negative things make me be a negative person and that kind of stuff. And I know this video is really long, and I'm really sorry. And I think that's it. And yeah, I think that's it.